The screen is black. A faint rumble grows louder, the sound of drilling. A flash of oil erupting from the ground cuts the darkness. Sparks from machinery fly across the screen as shadows of men move in silence. The heartbeat sound begins, slow and heavy. The voice continues, calm but cold. Every drop of oil carries a price, and in Season 2 that price has never been higher. The hook sets the stage, pulling the audience into a world where survival, power, and betrayal are stitched into the soil. The story begins in silence, but not the peaceful kind. It's the silence of men working under floodlights at the edge of dawn. The oil rigs stand tall like giants, steel arms grinding against the earth. The camera cuts facelessly, only hands tightening bolts, boots sinking in the dirt, silhouettes moving under the rising sun. The land groans. Machines roar, and a whisper slices through the noise. In a land built on oil, every deal comes at a cost. The scene shifts. The drilling stops. A drop of oil runs down a metal pipe, falling into the dirt. The camera lingers on it. Then the ground shakes, not from nature, but from what's boiling beneath the surface. The music deepens. Images flash quickly. A man slamming a contract down on a desk, another pushing back in anger, and a family standing on their porch staring at oil flames burning in the distance. The voiceover strikes again. The deeper you dig, the more the truth rises. The montage grows faster. Faces remain in shadows, but emotions cut through. The grip of a steering wheel, a tear rolling down someone's cheek, the clink of whiskey poured into a glass. Every shot is sharp, fast, and heavy with tension. The heartbeat quickens, echoing the rising fear. Then silence. Total silence. From that silence, a single sound emerges, the creak of a chair in a boardroom. The voice continues, quieter now, but sharper. Season 2 is not about striking oil. It's about surviving it. The camera reveals a stack of contracts on a table. A hand hovers over them, trembling. Another hand, steady, slams them shut. The screen cuts black again. Suddenly, a gavel slams down. The boom echoes. Courtroom papers fly. The voice rises. The land remembers every secret, every lie, every betrayal. The sequence quickens. Oil fields burning. Men shouting in shadow. A brief glimpse of a gun laid on a table. An envelope passed across a bar counter. Everything is faceless, everything hidden, but the weight of danger is clear. The land isn't just oil and money. It's blood, sweat, and secrets buried deep. The music swells, strings pulling tighter and tighter like a rope ready to snap. Then the sound cuts out. The final shot lingers. Oil dripping slowly onto the ground, black against the dirt. One last whisper. This isn't business. This is war. The screen fades to black. A metallic clang echoes, and then the title begins to form. Landman. The silence breaks with a thunderclap. Not from the sky, but from an explosion deep in the oil fields. A rig stands tall against the horizon, flames climbing into the morning air. Workers scatter in shadow, their voices lost beneath the roar of fire. The camera doesn't show faces, only the rush of boots, the panic in their movements, the red glow of burning steel. The voice returns, heavy, calm, and certain. When the ground shakes, alliances break. The scene cuts, quick flashes like lightning. A long corridor lined with mirrors reflecting a single briefcase carried by unseen hands. A courtroom, papers scattered as lawyers rise in fury. A handshake in shadow, firm but poisoned as the voice adds, every promise made is another chain waiting to snap. The soundscape thickens, and metallic clangs, the screech of brakes, the faint thud of a heartbeat that refuses to slow. We see the subtle war play out in fragments. A hand slides across a table offering a deal. Another hand pulls away. A glass shatters on the floor. A child's toy drops into the mud, cut with the image of oil dripping thick and black. The story pushes harder. A helicopter sweeps across a wide field at night, its searchlights dragging across shadows that dart and hide. A gun rests against a map on a table. A stack of cash burns in a steel barrel. Someone punches a wall, cracks spreading through the plaster. Everything quickens, the editing sharp, breathless. The voice hardens now, almost accusing. The truth is not buried, it waits. It waits for the moment to tear through everything you've built. The music rises, violins scratching like knives across metal, drums pounding like footsteps in a chase. The faceless characters become even more desperate in their movements. A truck speeds down a lonely road at night, headlights cutting across the desert. The sound of a phone ringing fills the silence, but no one answers. Instead, the ringing cuts into gunfire in the distance. The screen flashes, a close-up of hands signing a contract. A gavel slamming in court, a door being kicked open, then stillness. The voice lowers to a whisper, words carried like smoke. And when the truth rises, it leaves nothing standing. The last images of this section come like aftershocks. A man's hand trembling as he holds a photograph. A chain-link fence rattling in the wind. Flames reflecting in the shine of a wristwatch. Finally, a single drop of oil falls onto an open Bible. The sound cuts out again. Total silence. Then a single creak of metal echoes like a warning. The screen fades to black, leaving only the whisper of the land and the memory of everything lost. A hand clenches the steering wheel of a dusty pickup truck, veins tight beneath the skin. The truck idles in the dark, headlights glowing like two watchful eyes. Inside, silence, broken only by the faint tick of a wristwatch. The voice returns, lower now, filled with weight. Some battles are fought in the open. Others tear you apart in the quiet. The scene fractures into glimpses of private wars. A pair of trembling hands fold a letter, then slide it into an envelope stained with oil. A door closes, locking someone inside, and the click of the lock louder than any shout. A Bible rests on a bedside table, its pages marked with oil fingerprints. The words are not read aloud, but they weigh heavy in the silence. The sound design shifts, less explosive, more intimate, but sharper. We hear the slam of a cabinet door, the sharp inhale of someone holding back tears, the rattle of pills in a bottle left half empty. The faceless shots cut close, eyes wet with tears, lips pressed tight to hide the truth, shoulders slumped beneath the weight of choices. The voice hardens. Season 2 isn't about power alone. It's about the people it destroys. The screen flashes, a wedding ring thrown onto a wooden table, a child's toy dropped in the mud, half buried by black rain, a hand pressed against a window as firelight flickers outside. Then a contract is signed, the pen pressing so hard it tears the paper. Each image feels personal, intimate yet faceless. The music swells with strings, not sharp but mournful, rising like a prayer that goes unanswered. The heartbeat returns, faster now. The montage grows heavier. A man's hand shaking as he grips a revolver. Another pouring whiskey into a glass and spilling half of it. A family photo is set down, but the faces in the frame are blurred in shadow. The voice sharpens into anger. You wanted oil. You wanted wealth. But the land always demands something in return. The cuts quicken. A hand slams a fist against a contract. A shadowed figure drops a duffel bag on a motel bed. A pair of boots step into mud thick with oil. A gun is placed carefully on a dining table, right beside a plate of untouched food. The silence breaks with a whisper. This isn't business anymore. It's survival. And then the screen lingers. One long shot, oil dripping onto a single lit candle until the flame sputters out. Darkness. The music fades. The heartbeat stops. All that remains is the low hum of the earth, like it's alive, waiting, remembering. The screen is black. Then at a single spark, it flickers once, twice, before igniting an entire oil flare. The fire roars into the night sky, violent and uncontrolled. The voice slices through the flames, sharp and urgent. This land never forgets. And it never forgives. The tempo explodes. The edit moves like a storm. Helicopter blades thunder overhead. Light beams tearing across oil fields like hunting dogs. Sirens wail, echoing into the desert. Papers scatter in a courtroom as the judge's gavel slams down again and again, each strike louder than the last. Shadows fight in the glare of headlights, a struggle too quick to understand but heavy enough to feel. The soundscape grows wild. Gunfire cracks, chains rattle, doors slam. Yet the camera never shows a face, only the aftermath. A gun falls into the mud. A chair topples backward. A whiskey glass shatters across tile, its shards reflecting red light like blood. The voice deepens, harsher now. This isn't about oil anymore. It's war, and no one walks away clean. The montage builds, fast, breathless, explosions light up the night sky over drilling rigs. A briefcase full of money bursts open, bills flying into the fire. A lone truck barrels down a dirt road, chased by headlights closing in. A hand grips a rosary so tightly that blood beads against the beads.